Welcome to State of the Art Southern Illinois, a podcast by the Marion Cultural and Civic Center. Today, our guest is Carrie Gibbs, director of the Cedarhurst Arts Center at Cedarhurst Center for the Arts. Today, we learn about everything that Cedarhurst Center for the Arts has to offer, about their expansive grounds with their sculpture gardens, the Mitchell Museum, Cedarhurst Arts Center, and all of the different programs that they offer to serve their community. Carrie Gibbs, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, for any viewers that don't know what Cedarhurst Center for the Arts is, give us a quick little elevator pitch of what is Cedarhurst Center for the Arts.
Well, Cedarhurst is located in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and so we like to consider it the gem of Southern Illinois. It is a multicultural arts institution, so we have an art museum that houses several galleries with amazing artwork and artifacts. We also have a performance hall where we have musical performances throughout the year, but then we also have a 90-acre sculpture park. So when you pull up to Cedarhurst, we have magnificent grounds that have large-scale sculptures, and then we have the Cedarhurst Arts Center, which is our hands-on facility where we teach art classes.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's incredible as well. I mean, such an asset for Southern Illinois in development of the arts and appreciation for the arts. Most people would say general population would probably know you best for the Cedarhurst Arts Craft Fair.
Yes, a lot of people, when they think of Cedarhurst, they think of the craft fair. That may be the one time that they've come to the museum, and so they think, that that's just a once-a-year event, and that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, and that is a once-a-year event, but tell us a little bit about that event. What is the Cedarhurst Arts and Crafts Fair?
Yes, the craft fair has been one of our, most proud traditions we've had for over 40 years, and it's an annual art and craft fair. And so there are usually over 100 different artists who set up their booths, the 10 by 10 spaces, and the community comes to not only shop the fair, but we have a children's area. There's different food concessions and vendors. There's live music. There's the beer tent. And so it's just a wonderful community event that goes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's held annually the weekend after Labor Day. So it usually falls September 9, 10, 11 that weekend.
And you guys draw from all over Southern Illinois for that, both in your vendors and in the people who attend.
Yes, it's become family tradition for a lot of families to come every year. A lot of students that I work with, have childhood memories of coming to the craft fair and what fun it is. But our artists actually draw from nationally. We have artists that come all the way from Wisconsin and Florida, Missouri, all over. So you really get exposed to all kinds of different artworks that you wouldn't normally see.
That's awesome. So that's one weekend a year. That is one large event, and it's a special event, but there's 51 more weeks in the year. And so you mentioned, let's start with the grounds itself. You mentioned it's over 90 acres.
Yes. So the sculpture park is, a lot of people use the word serenity. It's this really serene space. Not only is the lawns, well manicured and kept. When you go to big cities, you will see, big, large-scale sculptures, in different city sites. Imagine having over 60 of those in one giant yard. And so the sculpture park has also a little pond, and there's 2 floating sculptures that are community favorites called the Dancers, and those are actually getting put in the water today. So
that's awesome.
There's always something going on at the museum. It's important to note that it's free. It is free to come into the grounds and walk. It is free to come into the museum and the galleries. And there's always something going on. Like I said today, if you happen to go for a walk and bring your dog in the park, you might see the installation of 2 floating sculptures happen. Really
cool. And do you have to walk that, or is there a driving path as well?
It is a walking path.
Okay.
So it is all handicap accessible. We have a sculpture park map you can download from our website, cedarhurst.org. And there's QR codes for the tech savvy that will walk you through the park, and our digital docents, which are like our sculpture storytellers. You can click on the app and click on the QR code, and then it will tell you the story of the sculpture, the story of the artist who made it, and how it came to be.
That's awesome.
It's fun, too. We even have a kids scavenger hunt for the sculpture park and free games like that you can pick up at the front desk when you come to visit.
So in addition to the amazing grounds with the sculpture park that's fully interactive that you can learn from, then after that, you've got the Mitchell Museum. And what is the Mitchell Museum exactly?
So the Mitchell Museum, we're coming up on almost 50 years that the museum has been there. The original structure is this really beautiful white marble, has a very kind of neoclassical style with the archways. It's kind of one of our trademark architectural features on the property. And so within that white marble building is where we house the permanent collection of Cedarhurst, which is something that we are very proud of. It is a collection of late 19th, early 20th century American Impressionism works. So not only paintings, but sculpture and artifacts. And so within that museum, there are art galleries, and we have multiple galleries. There's some that are for, contemporary, currently living artists, who are working around the nation, as well as local. But then we also have these priceless possessions that if you were to go to, say, the Chicago Art Institute, or the Boston Museum of Fine Art, or the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, any of our, top elite museums, we have paintings by the same artists in our collection. So it's something, once again, that's really unique about Mount Vernon, that not a lot of people realize, that we house a collection that is, at par with these other institutions.
That's incredible.
It really is. And they're lovely paintings too, just in general, whether you knew the history or the context or even cared, that they were these priceless parts of history. They're lovely to just come look at and enjoy as well.
And are these galleries open regularly?
Yeah, we're open. We're open regularly. Monday is the only day that we're closed, and national holidays. But Tuesday through Saturday, we're open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then Sunday, we are open in the afternoon from 1 to 5. And then this week, we kick off a program we called Thursday Night Live. Several years ago, we realized a lot of people who work till 5 don't have an opportunity to come unless it's on a weekend. So we started staying open late until 8 p.m. on Thursday nights. So from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we'll be open all summer, Thursday evenings as well. And not only are the hours later, but we have live music on the back patio. There's food concessions or a food truck. And then there's usually some kind of art activity or something fun planned each night. So once again, you can find that whole calendar for the Thursday evenings on our website.
So Thursday evenings aren't just the exhibitions themselves, but you've got additional things. You've got essentially little micro events every Thursday evening that families can come to and that people can come to and really enjoy.
Yes. Yeah. We found that just staying open late till 8 in the first couple of years, we weren't getting a lot of foot traffic. So, whenever you start offering food and drink, then, it becomes this, community event.
Yeah.
People come and socialize. It's definitely family friendly. It's pet friendly. So you bring your lawn chair and, and your kids and whatever, we have some sidewalk chalk out there, and people come and sit in the lawn and enjoy the music. And then, whatever they need, we have concessions provided. So, and then, like I said, we always provide an art component too. That's kind of an optional thing if you want to opt into the gallery talk or opt into the DIY art project booth, or you want to opt into something that we're doing that week that's unique, then you can.
That's awesome.
And that's free too. So once again, we really work hard to try to be an accessible institution, and, we're there for everyone. We're open for everyone. And so, we're grateful for our sponsors sponsors are the people who help make those programs possible. And then membership. You can be a member of Cedarhurst, which supports, the fact that we can stay open and be free like that.
That's incredible. And I mean, the more that you speak about the things that you guys are doing, the more that I just hear service to the community over and over and over again. Without you actually saying it's a service to the community, you guys are serving the Southern Illinois community so greatly, which brings us to the Schroed Arts Center, which serves the community in a completely different way. And you're the director of the Schroed Arts Center.
Yes.
So can you tell us in depth about what happens at the Schroed Arts Center?
Well, the Schroed Arts Center, we used to kind of joke that it's like the back door to the museum. It's, where you can come in your jeans and your T-shirt and, get messy making clay projects, making paint projects. Kids come there for our art classes that we have after school as well as summer camp. And let me note that jeans and T-shirts are fine to come in at any time to the museum and things like that. But we're definitely the kind of casual, hands-on facility. But we do have a gallery in the center of the Art Center. And the mission of that gallery is to showcase artists that live in Southern Illinois. So I host at least 5 different exhibits a year. One is a photography competition. We do a fine art and craft, which is for all art forms. And then I do 2 to 3 different spotlight exhibits where I highlight an individual artist. And I've made the mission of the gallery to just be for Southern Illinois artists who live kind of south of I-70. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing the number of talented artists that live in our area. And
Michelle Wertman is in the gallery currently. Is that correct?
Correct. Our summer exhibit is a spotlight on Michelle Wortman. She's from Creel Springs, and she is a wonderful oil painter who's inspired by nature. And so most of her paintings have images of flowers and birds and hummingbirds and things like that in nature. And it's just very bright and lovely, which is a perfect show for our summer slot because in the month of July we will have our children's summer art camp, and that's when the Art Center really becomes like this art school, and we have kids who, every year they sign up. We kind of become a community together there, and they're there from 10 to 3, working in the morning in the clay room, working in the afternoon with paper mache or painting, and so we have a variety of classes that are very popular. And so with that, like I mentioned, the gallery is in the center of the center, but then off of that, we have 3 different classrooms. The first classroom, my favorite, is the clay classroom, because that's my art form as well and my forte. And so we have multiple kilns where we fire the pottery. And once again, like you said, a service to the community. Most public schools are not able to afford a pottery studio because the nature of the equipment that's involved for that and the sheer space that it takes up. And so we're very lucky to have that ceramic studio, that classroom. So a lot of students in Southern Illinois get their first hands-on clay experience there. Then we also have the glass classroom, which is stained glass fusing, and then multiple painting classes are taught in there as well, like watercolor, acrylic, and fiber arts is our third classroom. So we have a lot of basket weaving, there's floor looms, and just a variety of different fiber arts that happen in that room. So with the number of classes that we have going on, the classrooms are fluid in what's happening within them that day. But the Art Center really is like an art community center. We also have multiple clubs that meet there throughout the week. So we have the Basketeers who come together on Thursday nights. They're a lovely group of ladies.
They sound wild.
They are, yeah. The room will erupt in laughter, and something good just happened. And then there's our Cedarhurst Quilters who have an annual exhibit where we highlight their quilts. So if you're a quilt enthusiast, you definitely want to stop by in the fall when the quilts are hanging. And then we have our fiber group that meets on Thursdays, and our clay club is an organic thing. So yes, between the classes that we have for children as well as adult workshops, and then our clubs, the Art Center is this really vibrant hub of people coming and going and learning together.
That's incredible. And you mentioned Michelle Wortman's work. Luke O'Neill with Union Street Arts did a podcast with Michelle just a couple of weeks ago, and they talked about her work. And I took a look at a lot of it online. I need to get up and see it in person. There's a lot of those nature components, but kind of with a little bit of a modern take on them, with a little bit of geometric reaction within the pieces, and it's just really beautiful.
Yes, and that's something true about all artwork. It's definitely better in person. Mm-hmm. Just like you can't take away that in-person feeling of a live performance too. There's just so much more of an intimate experience there. But the colors are more vivid. We forget that in our digital society, when we view things on our phone or we view things on our computer screen, it creates this space that everything exists within that same square. Mm-hmm. You're either 6-inch square or you're 16-inch square. And so many paintings are much larger than that. Sometimes they're smaller than that. And, getting to have that physical experience of walking up to the work and really seeing the details of the brush strokes and the colors is something that, it's worth the trip. I definitely would say if you live in Southern Illinois and you live an hour away, you could come and spend the better part of an afternoon and be totally satisfied and happy you made the trip. And
you also mentioned summer camps. And so your summer camp starts soon. And what are some of the summer camp offerings this year?
So July, as I mentioned, is our main summer camp time. We usually theme it. So each week is a different theme. So our first week is all about animals, amazing animals. So there'll be clay animal classes. There's a animals that fly class where you'll learn all about wings, different kinds of wings, and how to make your own wings. Then the second week is called Art Around the World. So we're taking an international trip in our imaginations to go to different countries and learn some of the art forms that have originated in different cultures. And then we have our Wizard Week, and Harry Pottery is already sold out. How to Draw Your Dragon might have a couple seats left if you get online and check it out. But, our kids' camp is fun and whimsical, and all the classes are designed for kids, having never done that media before. We walk you through step by step. And I should note, our adult classes and workshops, too. They really are kind of entry level. If you've always wanted to try to work in clay but never have, these are the classes that are great to work with. And for artists who are more advanced, usually our teachers will then work with them where they're at and then kind of independently guide them. And then our last week is Teen Clay Camp. And so this is for 13 to 18-year-olds. And they'll get a chance to learn how to throw on the potter's wheel. And, we do service all age groups. We go as young as 18 months old. So we have another class called ABCs in Art, which meets Wednesday mornings and Thursday mornings in the summer. And it's for 1.5 to 3-year-olds. And the guardian, attends with the child. And it is one of the highlights of my day. I teach that class with my coworker, Jennifer Sarver, who's our director of education. And we sing songs, we do poems, we do an art project. With that age group, I joke that we do, at least 45 things in 45 minutes.
Just keep that attention span rolling.
Yeah, keep it going. So, and with families, I should note as well, I'd mentioned if you, are looking for things to do this summer, to get out of the house with your family, one of our biggest attractions at Cedarhurst is our Family Education Center. So this is in the Mitchell Museum. And we expanded the museum in 2008. So I mentioned the original marble building. Well, when you go through the museum, there's a straight glass hallway shot into the expansion where we have our performance hall, which can seat over 350 people. And then we have the Family Education Center, which is this, awesome playroom where you can learn about art through play. If you've ever, taken your family to the Science Center or, a children's museum, it's very much like a children's museum in one giant room. So there's indoor trees, there's puzzles, there's the light bright wall, the giant light bright, there's the weaving wall. all kinds of different games that you can interact with. And we find the adults in there playing just as much as the kids. And there's also a children's gallery in the back. So, within our galleries, we even try to, focus on all age groups. So,
and you have an additional outreach program, the Sunflower Project, as well. Tell us a little bit about the Sunflower Project.
So this is a new program that we are partnering with Wren Lake College, as well as the University of Illinois Extension, and then the City of Mount Vernon. So these 4 partners have come together and started planning this last fall, and in efforts of beautifying the space. So planting, we are literally going to plant 2 fields of sunflowers at Veterans Memorial Park, which is our main city park that gets a lot of traffic. And so with the science department at Wren Lake and the U of I team, they've come up with the different seed varieties that we're going to plant, hoping to clean and regenerate the soil, attract pollinators. But then we've planned 3 community events, and that's kind of where Cedarhurst comes in. We are going to help, with the art of the sunflower while they're helping with the science of the sunflower. We will be set up at the park 3 different times this summer. The first is our kickoff planting day celebration, which is coming up June 11th. And then our bloom celebration. All of the sunflowers should hopefully be in bloom by July 30th. These events are considered outreach because we're trying to get, out from behind the wall of the museum and put our face into the community, meet new audiences. That's part of me coming today. I really appreciate the opportunity to get to speak on the podcast because so many people, even in our hometown, don't realize we exist, and which kind of blows my mind. But I guess if you just never drive past that part of town, you might not know. And if they do know, they may not realize that, this is a place for everybody to get to come.
Well, and I've known about Cedarhurst for a very long time, but I had no idea the expanse of everything you do and the expanse of your facilities and your offerings to the community and the service that you guys offer to the community. And I'm astonished just in our discussion today, learning about everything.
Yeah, there really is a lot that goes on. We're proud of our staff. We have a staff of about 17 people who pull off, literally hundreds of programs, and classes, throughout the year. And everybody's really passionate about what they do. And so that's why when we were approached to partner on the Sunflower Project, it fit right within our mission. We're trying to get out into the community, invite them literally, and hope that they'll discover Cedarhurst, just like our other partners are hoping they'll discover Wren Lake, and that there's opportunities for everyone there to study.
Well, it sounds like a perfect outreach. There's such a societal mindset that a museum is this stuffy thing.
Yes.
Where it's not. It's this vibrant, living organization that offers interactive things that are engaging for all ages to the community. And you're doing live music, and you're doing vendors, and you're doing so many things to bring the world of art to life for the overall Southern Illinois community. And I think it's wonderful that we get the word out throughout all of Southern Illinois about exactly what you guys offer.
And that's why I think what you've started here is great, because just in meeting you too, it just starts with a conversation. You've got to connect, take that time to discover, what is there. And these outreach projects are one way, hopefully that we continue to meet new audiences. And you're exactly right. Museums, Cedarhurst is not unique to the problem of being perceived as this stuffy elite,
There's a lot more than just marble walls there.
Yes. And, that literally the marble ivory tower is only for a certain number of people. And so doing all these classes, doing all of these programs, that keep us, busy is our way of trying to break down that stigma, slowly break it down. That like, no, this is fun.
Yeah,
this
and making the arts
you.
approachable it's such a great service to the arts world as a whole, not just to your organization.
Yeah, one of the things I like to share with people when they come, view the art for the first time is like, you should be empowered as the viewer to not like it. It's okay if you come in and say you look at the painting and you're like, this show isn't really for me. Yeah. Or like, this isn't really my cup of tea. But we offer so much. I would guarantee you that throughout your walk of the park or walk of the museum, there's going to be something that you're going to be like, now that is cool. That is really neat. And I'm glad I came.
And speaking of breaking down the walls of presumption and of the assumption of what the art world is, you've got an incredible event coming up in July that does exactly that.
Yes, this is we say it's our eyebrow raising event. What are they doing? So we're doing the art of tattooing. And this is an event that grew out of my relationship of working with Michelle Wortman, the oil painter. She is a very talented and successful tattoo artist. And, it is difficult for an artist to make a living just as an artist. And so her and her husband, Guy Aitchison, have been able to create a really wonderful life as tattoo artists. They own their own home and private studio, and they have clients fly in internationally to work with them to be tattooed. And so through working with her, I gained such an appreciation of tattooing as an art form. Like you said, there's this stigma of like, oh, that's bad or something, or that's not for me, or just kind of these negative connotations with it.
And tattooing isn't just a heart with mom through it or an anchor on somebody's shoulder anymore. There's a true artistry to that craft.
And that's what this event is going to be. Guy Aitchison, he is very well known in the tattoo industry and very successful. I could go on and on with his accolades, but he's going to present about a 1-hour presentation to discuss how tattooing has evolved from the way it used to be like in the 60s and 70s to the 80s. And then when you get into the 2000s and now into 2020, it has evolved into this incredible art form. Tattoo industry, technology has transformed that as well as, everything in our life. So it's July 9th. There is a fee for this event. It's $10 per person to attend. If you're a member of Cedarhurst, it's $5. But we'll start with a cocktail hour, which it will be from 6 to 7, and we'll begin up at the Schroed Art Center. So it'll be kind of a fun, like, mix and mingle night where you'll start at the art center to get to see Michelle's oil paintings, and then we'll hop down to the museum in the performance hall where we'll have there'll be a cash bar, and there'll be food concessions, so you can make a whole evening of it. And then hear Guy's presentation, which I'm really excited to hear. I've been telling people, too, that you don't have to like tattooing, to like this event. And the point of the event is not to encourage people to want to go out and get a tattoo. It is more just to create a new appreciation of this art form, and to put it in a different context that maybe you hadn't seen before.
And to give it the acknowledgement from an arts organization as a formal acknowledgement of it as an art form is really a beautiful thing as well.
Yeah, and I think that that's where Cedarhurst, we are very trend-setting. I don't know of any other institutions that have done something like that in our region. In Chicago at the Field Museum, they did an event, they did an art exhibit about tattooing a few years ago. And Guy was one of those featured artists at the Field Museum. And so he had a piece in the show and a statement. And so it's nice to echo that once again with one of our peers, and to be performing at that level.
And again, Guy Aitchison and Michelle Wortman are both here in Southern Illinois, and they're actually just outside of Marion and Creole Springs. And so that's such a great representation of the rich art community in Southern Illinois through such a cool, different lens.
Yes. And once again, we hope to attract new audiences. We're hoping that, maybe you're really into tattoo culture and you probably know way more about it than I do. I've been learning, as I go. But, we hope people will come and, show some skin. We want to appreciate the art that they have collected on their body. And that's something that Guy and Michelle have taught me, is that their clients that they work with, they view more as their art collectors. they collect their art, but it's wearable. So
yeah, and it's so much more personal in that way than a piece hanging on a wall when you're literally displaying it on your body.
And the way that they approach tattooing is, I would say something too that's, there's almost like an emotional bond that's formed between the client and them, because when someone approaches them for a piece, there's usually some significance to why they're wanting to get it. And not to judge anybody that on spring break went and got a palm tree tattooed on their ankle, not judging, but like that impulse kind of tattooing is very different than the style that they do. There is, multiple drawings done, there's design work done, and everything that is in the tattoo has some kind of symbolic reference usually to either that person, and, to what it means to them, as they go through their life transitions. And some, so that just is another thing I think that will be kind of touched on that evening, is how, each piece is completely unique, and it's almost co-created together between the person who's getting the art and then the artist.
I can't wait for that event, just to hear the artistic process involved from someone who is such a master of his craft and so well respected. I'm really impressed by that offering alone, let alone everything else that we've talked about.
And we try to keep things affordable,
I mean, $10, that's...
I know. But still, I know some audiences, maybe that would be difficult. We offer scholarships to all of our classes. And, with things like this, with events, you could totally email me and let me know if that price was ever a barrier. And then we would find a way for you to be able to come.
That's incredible. Yeah. And again, a great service to the community.
Yeah.
Making things accessible. I mean, a $10 price is, that's a burger for McDonald's.
Exactly. And with the price of gas, but we know with the price of gas, you may be having to drive. So we try to keep things accessible, but then, mindful too.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've learned so much, and I hope everyone listening and watching has learned so much as well. We'll have to do this again and kind of drill down on some of these things and drill down on some of the events and figure out exactly, how we can present more of what you guys are doing to all of Southern Illinois.
Yeah, it is a lot to unpack. So I once again appreciate the opportunity to just come and speak on it. And if you want to know more, please go to our website, cedarhurst.org. And if you're listening, Cedarhurst is spelled like the tree, CEDARHURST.org. We also have social media presence. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to check us out.
And we'll put some of those links in the description as well.
Okay, great.
And so you'll be able to find it, whether you're listening on podcast platform or online on YouTube or Facebook. You'll be able to find those links within the description.
Yeah, and if you ever have any questions, you're always welcome to call the Art Center or shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to talk with you more or tell you more. So
wonderful. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today, and we look forward to speaking again.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you for joining us for State of the Art Southern Illinois, a podcast by the Marion Cultural and Civic Center. Special thanks to AJ Rice, our associate producer. Also, thank you to Jeremy Todd for today's soundtrack. And now, listen to Long Bright Dark by Jeremy Todd.
With it all you want, but no devil's gonna get us, no devil's gonna stop us. Run wherever you want, but no devil's gonna get us for what we've done. You could try and scare us with it all you want, but no devil's gonna get us, no devil's gonna stop us. the windows down, oh, and the sunlight shining on me. You tried to scare us with the devil. We all knew that shit was a lie. You tried to save me in the temple, but all that saves me now is my windows down, oh, and the sunlight shining on me. So take a second now, oh, take a couple steps back, find out who you are. You only get this life, you only get one shot now, we might as well be in the dark. Oh, we might as well be in the dark. You say the world has made me colder now that I have grown. I say it's just kept me more in tune with what the future holds. I got my windows down, oh, and the sunlight shining on me. So take a second now, oh, take a couple steps back, find out who you are. You only get this life, you only get one shot now, we might as well be in the dark. Oh, we might as well be in the dark. Run, run, wherever you want, but no devil's gonna get us for what we've done. You can try and scare us with it all you want, but no devil's gonna get us, no devil's gonna stop us. Run, run, wherever you want, but no devil's gonna get us for what we've done. You can try and scare us with it all you want, but no devil's gonna get us, no devil's gonna stop us. That's the sound of a man working on a change. That's the sound of a man working on a change. So take a second now, or take a couple steps back.